Hello beaders, welcome to Beachside Bead Boutique. My name is Jerry. Today I am super excited because I have bargain bead box here for the month of August, and we are going to open this up and see what's in here. I will give you my first thoughts and some design ideas, and I am just very excited, as I always am. It's bargain bead box time of the month. So, anyway, first, let me introduce you to, if you guys are new to my channel, I will introduce you to my turtle committee here. This is Sandy, Blueberry, and Daiquiri, and they oversee everything and have to make sure everything is going smoothly. So anyway, we are going to open up a bargain bead box. And I just got this out of the mailbox. So I am super excited, and as always, I've been anxiously waiting. And let's see what we have. We have Saguaro Sunset. We're heading southwest with an earthy palette of red, turquoise, purple, and more. This month's star gemstone is jasper, with a variety of pendants and gemstone beads, along with accents of Malaysian agate and river stone, porcelain focals, sparkling crystals, and a collection of copper finished beads, pendants, and findings complete the collection. So that sounds really exciting. I love the colors that was described. Have, as usual, a nice bag. Saguaro Sunset. Ooh. 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 Oh, yeah. Oh, I love that. Okay. Okay. Anyway, I always get so excited. Okay, let me get everything organized, and we will go ahead and reveal this the proper way. Okay, beaders, let me start by saying we have 21 items in this month's collection. And if you subscribe to Bargain Bead Box, you receive the box every month for only $25. And the retail value is $90.79. So, like I said, for $25 a month, which includes the shipping, you get plenty of gemstones, crystals, pendants, charms, bead mixes. You'll see everything that is in this box. You always get something similar that's curated to a specific theme every month. So it is a very good deal. And I will link Bargain Bead Box in my description box. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with Saguaro Sunset. I think that's how you say it. Okay, so first we have 34 by 23 millimeter red jasper and brass teardrop pendant, antique copper, and this is a $4.99 value. So we have, ooh, a very pretty red jasper pendant. Look at how gorgeous this is. That stone is so pretty. Let me show you that close up. That is so nice. And this, the detail on here, I love that. Look at the little leaf patterns. I love this. I love that it's so shiny and has almost like a worn kind of a look to it as well. Very beautiful. That is a super pretty color. Starting out great. Next we have two pieces, approximately 24 by 18 millimeter red jasper teardrop pendants, $4.99 value. Ooh, that is pretty. Oh, look at the, ooh, I love this. How it has that crackle in there. That is so pretty. Oh, yes. That is gorgeous. That's a very pretty color. That nice brick red is what I consider that. That is pretty. Oopsie. Yes, gorgeous. And next, we have approximate 4-piece, approximate 14 by 9 by 5 millimeter red jasper teardrop beads. And this is $3.99. Okay, that's cute. So again, the same color, very pretty. Yeah, super pretty. And the hole is drilled from top to bottom. So far we have lots of brick red, but I love it. Next, we have 8mm red rainbow jasper round beads, 15-inch strand for $6.99. See, so already with just these few items here, we are getting close to the total that you pay for the month's box. Like I said, it's $25. So, ooh, this is pretty. I love that. Yes, look at the beautiful creamy swirls. And then this one has a lot of black. Same thing with this one. Look at that. It's beautiful. They are very, very smooth. And it is a nice long strand. That is super gorgeous. Next, we have 4 by 2.5mm red rainbow jasper faceted Heshi beads, 7-inch strand for $6.99. Ooh, oh, these are pretty because, of course, we have the faucets, so we have some shimmer. That is so gorgeous. Look at the color variations in there with some black, a little bit of beige. Very pretty. Yes. Look at that sparkle. Gorgeous. And next we have 3 by 3.5mm elation agate microfaceted round beads, 14.5-inch strand for $7.99. So microfaceted. So this is going to be very shimmery. Yes. Look at these beautiful colors. That is so pretty. I love the brown and the brick red and the yellow, beige, gray, white, so yellow, so pretty. That is gorgeous. I mean, this would be beautiful in like an 8mm too. That is so pretty. So you could see it better. Super gorgeous. I love the colors. And next we have 6mm red rainbow jasper matte round beads, 7-inch strand for $3.99. Ooh, oh, that is pretty too. I mean, these are matte. They look like clay, and I actually have some really cool beads that I got from the bead chest that would be perfect with this. Yes, these are so cool because they have a terracotta look to them. Very nice. Beautiful color variations in there. Some white and creamy swirls and kind of gray. So pretty. Next, we have 6mm sea sediment jasper round beads in orchid, 7-inch strand for $3.99. Okay, so we're bringing in some, ooh, very pretty purple. Ooh, that's nice. Oh, that is gorgeous with the beautiful tan swirls, creamy, as I call it. Very pretty. I love this purple. And it looks great with this. I mean, that adds, a brightness to that. Look at how pretty. That looks, yes, that is gorgeous. Next, we have 5.5mm crystal faceted English cut round beads in turquoise green AB, which stands for Aurora Borealis, which is, like the Northern Lights, so it has a shimmer. So we have a 10-inch strand for $4.99. So we have faceted and AB. I always say that's a great combination because we have sparkle and, like I said, the hues of different color. I mean, that is gorgeous. just so pretty. And I mean, with this is so pretty. I'm getting a kind of a Southwest Aztec vibe. Oh, very pretty. That green just looks so lovely with that. Yes, that is gorgeous. Then we have 7 by 4 by 5 millimeter crystal faceted rectangle beads in dark coral red. And this is 10-inch strand for $3.99. Ooh, very nice. Very pretty shimmer. The faucets are gorgeous. A nice little rectangle bead. So pretty. And this red brightens it up because we have that deeper brown red, and then we have this bright red to brighten that. Yes, very pretty. Okay, next we have 8mm Riverstone Fossil Jasper Matte Round Bead 7.5-inch strand for $3.99. And this was 8mm, okay. Ooh, that's nice. So we have some matte white beads. Of course, it has a little bit of a beige tint to it. Very nice. And next we have 58 by 33mm porcelain cactus bead ivory with brown wash. And this is a $2.99 value. Now I have one of these from earlier this year when they had their cactus blooms bundle, I believe it was called, which was a specialty bundle. Like I said, a couple months ago. So yes, that is very cool. And I did make a necklace using the cactus and the beautiful green and pink beads from that bundle. But this is very cool because, like I said, this bundle is giving a Aztec kind of Southwest vibe. So I definitely see that now. Very cool. Next, we have 20-gram mix of 6 by 3mm glass rondelle beads, Sunset Skies, $4.99 value. Sunset Skies sounds very pretty. Ooh, and indeed, it is very pretty. Yes, I love the green turquoise with the kind of lavender with creamy color, and then the beautiful yellow that brightens it up with the red. That is so pretty. Like I said, it is giving me an Aztec vibe. I love it. Next, we have 23.5 by 27 by 9mm hand-painted porcelain cylinder bead in Southwest Nights for $3.99 value. Ooh, ooh, that is pretty. Oh, I love this. Yes, he's Southwest. See, it has an Aztec kind of print on there. That is so cool. I would have liked a couple of these. That is really, really cool. Gorgeous. And then next, I think that's all of the beads now. Next, we have 4 pieces, 37 by 45mm cactus teardrop pendant set, antique copper with patina, $4.99. I mean, you guys know I told you the last time they had patina in the Rainforest Relics collection. I loved it. I love the copper with patina. So this is exciting. Ooh, oh, that is so cool. I love these. That is very cool. Oh yeah, look at, if we do that, I mean, you could have it like a double kind of, that is so, I love this. That is so pretty. I love that patina and the cutout cactus. And then this too. I mean, that is gorgeous. And see, it does have the patina wash inside these little flowers there. So the back, very cool. Yes, that is so pretty. I love that. And next we have 4 pieces, 25 by 22 millimeter teardrop chandelier pendant, antique copper, $2.99. So we have 4 pieces of these. Ooh, that is nice. Okay, I really like these little pendants. Yes, very Aztec. Very nice. And I love copper. It's like my favorite color in findings and jump rings, and I prefer copper. Yes, yeah. See, we have the little holes at the bottom so we could connect bead strands or something to it. Very cool. I love the design. Okay, next we have 6 pieces, 27 by 17 millimeter texture teardrop links in antique copper for $1.99. Okay. These are nice too. These are very pretty. I love the little design, how it just looks very kind of worn, you know, has that old kind of look to it. And I really like that. Yes, these are very cool. That's the back, so it's the same pattern. Okay, moving right along. We have 30 pieces, 6 millimeter detailed bicone spacer beads in antique copper. Okay, so we do have some more beads. These are spacers. Oh, and these are cool. Oh, I like that design. Yes, these are very cool. I really like the shape of them. And it has a little design. Very Aztec-y again. I love it. That is very, very cool. And next we have, looks like some bead caps. 30 pieces, 7 millimeter bead caps in antique copper for $2.99. So very cool. And like I said, I always say with bead caps, I mean, this is something you could use with any kind of a project. So I always like getting some bead caps and spacers. I mean, you could use it for anything. Trying to turn it so, okay, so you see the little detail. So again, it looks similar to the little pattern on here. And then the inside of the bead caps, which is cool too. But these are very nice. I love bead caps with some details on them. And Bargain Bead Box always delivers in that category for sure. And next, we have 3 pieces, 24 by 11 millimeter hook and eye clasp antique copper for $1.99. See, like I said, they always give you clasp, and again, that is something that I really appreciate getting. And these are cool. Okay. That is neat. Yes, I like these. Yes, that is cool. And I like the fact that you get 3 of them. Really like these. Okay, and our last one, we have 4 by 3 millimeter textured oval cable jewelry chain antique copper for $3.99. And this is something that we get in most of the boxes, is some kind of a chain. Yeah, so we have a nice long copper chain. And again, it is thin. Sometimes I wish they would give one that's maybe a little bit wider, just because that's the kind of style I like, but you know, just to kind of change it up a little bit. But that's just a minor little thing. So, yes, but I do like it. I love the color. And I love that it's very long, so there's a lot of, you know, use out of it. So, yes, very good. Okay, beaders. Well, that's everything from Bargain Bead Boxes, Saguaro Sunset Collection. I absolutely love it. This color palette is stunning. The the pendants for sure. I mean, these antique copper pendants are beautiful. Yeah, so I am very excited to design something with this collection. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything cleaned up and out of the way, and I'm going to come up with a design. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. You won't want to miss it. Okay, Beater, so if we can focus on the beads that I'm going to use for this design first. So I'm going to use the Riverstone Fossil Jasper, the spacer beads, the glass rondelle bead Sunset Skies, the red jasper teardrop beads, the turquoise green faceted beads, the red rainbow jasper matte beads, the sea sediment jasper, and orchid, and I love these so much. I think they are so pretty. And then the 8mm red rainbow jasper round beads, the red rainbow jasper faceted heshy, and then the Alasian agate micro faceted beads. And then I think I'm going to incorporate this beautiful specialty bead, and then I will probably use this as my clasp, and then I may incorporate one or two of these. Okay, and the tools and the items that you're going to need are, I have some bead stoppers, and I'm going to use 2 of these wood rings in this smaller size here. And then I have round nose pliers, bent nose pliers, needle nose pliers, and flush cutters. And then also a piece of sari silk that I may incorporate. If you have wood rings and you want to paint your wood rings, then you are going to need some acrylic paint or markers. I have these acrylic markers. These are the colors that I'm going to use. And then also some Mod Podge to seal the color on the wood rings. Okay, so that's everything. And then also a pair of scissors and a roller. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm starting with 3 pieces of beading cord. Each strand is approximately 30 inches long. I'm going to start stringing the first strand by adding a 6mm matte red jasper bead. And I'm going to take it down about 4 inches and then put a bead stopper right underneath that bead. And now I'm going to take 11 of the microfaceted beads and put it on that same strand and take it down to that 6mm bead. We're making what I'm calling a beaded connector loop. So that's going to function as the jump ring for the piece. So instead of using a jump ring, we are making these beaded connector loops. And yes, we could have easily just used jump rings or even tied the cords onto the wood ring. But, you know, I actually wanted to be a little bit extra, and apparently we're taking the long road today. So just sit back and bead. And this piece is going to look beautiful with these little beaded connector loops because the details are the design. And then once you have 11 of the microfaceted beads, I'm going to take the wooden ring and bring that beaded section through the center. I fold the beads around the wooden ring and bring the opposite end of the cord back through that original 6mm red jasper bead. As you can see, this creates the pretty little beaded loop that wraps around the wooden ring, which of course I call the beaded connector loop. Now on the opposite end of the cord, I'm taking another microfaceted bead and stringing it to that 6mm bead. And then I'm going to secure a few small knots, and that's to keep everything in place before we move on to the rest of the beading. And make sure your knots are really tight because that's what's holding the beaded connector loops together, which is what's holding the bracelet together. So we definitely don't want anything to come apart. And I really like how this looks. That adds a nice little design detail. but we are going to do 6 of those. So yeah, we have a little bit of beading to do. And of course, if you would rather add crimp tubes and crimp covers and jump rings or clamshells, that is totally up to you. I mean, you could definitely do that if you'd like as well. And like I've told you before, I'm just giving you the inspiration. So of course, make every piece your own. I'm mixing different sizes, shapes, and colors along with some bead caps and spacers. I really want this bracelet to have that collected, eclectic feel rather than looking too perfectly planned. And this piece is definitely going to have some of that boho chaos that I love. And each beaded strand is going to measure about 3.5 inches. And I really love how this is looking so far. The beautiful beads are so pretty. Oh yeah, and as you can see, I did go ahead and paint my wood rings. I used my acrylic markers, the 2 colors that I showed you earlier. And I really like the detail of that. And I really like the beaded connector loop. It looks really pretty and adds an extra design element. And like I said, the details are the design. And now that I feel that my bead strand is long enough, like I said, about 3.5 inches, I'm going to go ahead and put a bead stopper on and then just put this to the side for right now and then go ahead and work on the other 2 strands. And I'm going to go ahead and string the beaded connector loops around the wood ring and string the other 2 strands, and I'll come back and show you what I have. I mean, you guys know how to string beads. So I have the first 2 strands done aside from the other beaded connector loop. And I really love the addition of that porcelain focal bead on that middle section. I think that is very pretty. Once all 3 strands are finished, I'm checking them carefully and making sure that they're all the same length. And here is my beading pattern for all 3 strands. And I really love the porcelain bead in the middle. Now I'm going to create the beaded connector ring around the wood ring on the other side, but it is going to be slightly different because I am going to add some chaos tassels as well. So I'm going to show you that right now. So after I made my beaded connector ring and brought the cord back through that 6mm bead at the end, I'm going to create a chaos tassel with the remaining cord. And to make my chaos tassels, I'm just using a mix of the beads, mostly the microfaceted, but I am going to add some of the little rondelles as well. There is nothing specific here, so just add what you want, let the beads guide you. And obviously, we couldn't just trim the cords off and be finished, that would be way too easy. So of course I had to make some chaos tassels. So once I feel that my chaos tassels are long enough, I'm going to go ahead and tie a few knots and then secure it with some glue to make sure that everything is sealed nice and tight. And now the first strand is done with the beaded connector loops attached to both sides of the wood ring and one little chaos tassel. So I am going to go ahead and finish the last 2 strands. And now all 3 strands are finished, and you look at those little chaos tassels. They are really cute and add some extra movement. And I really love this beaded portion. It is so pretty. These beads are gorgeous, and it looks great with the wood rings too. And now we're bringing in some texture. I'm taking 2 pieces of this gorgeous deep red sari silk and attaching 1 piece to each wooden ring using a lark's head knot. And did I mention this bracelet is going to be adjustable? Using the sari silk, we're going to be able to make an adjustable sliding cord. Now to make a lark's head knot, I'm going to form a loop in my sari silk and then take that through the wooden ring. See, there's my loop. I'm taking that portion through the wood ring and folding it over the wood ring. And then I'm going to take the remaining sari silk back through that loop. And make sure you pull your sari silk really tight as you pull it down. And now I'm going to do the same thing with the other piece of sari silk with the other wood ring on the other side. And now I'm going to take a piece of a 20 gauge antique copper wire to wrap right underneath the lark's head knot on the silk. And I am going to form a little coil first so that it has something to grab onto when we put it onto the silk. Now I'm going to take my little coil and place it right underneath the lark's head knot and start wrapping my wire. And no, I'm definitely not trying to make these wraps perfectly neat. I actually want them to look a little rustic and handmade because it fits the personality of this bracelet. And I had to move the wire out of the camera to wrap it because I didn't want it to hit my camera. But once you're done, go ahead and smash the wire down. Make sure that there's nothing sharp sticking out. And then we're going to go ahead and trim the wire and again smash that wire down. And this wire wrapping adds another design element. And then also it just adds a little bit of extra security to the sari silk portion. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap the wire on the other side and I'll be right back. And now we have the sari silk attached to both ends. And I really, really love it. I love the added texture that this adds and that beautiful red color. I mean, that is stunning. Now, because I attached the sari silk to the wooden rings with a lark's head knot, I actually have 2 layers of the silk coming from each side. That is a little too much bulk to fit through the large hole beads that I'm using for the adjustable closure. So on each side, I'm going to separate the 2 layers and trim away the bottom layer, leaving me with just 1 piece of sari silk extending from each side. This gives me a much thinner end that I can easily feed through the beads that I'm using for the adjustable closure. And these are the beads that I'm using for the adjustable closure. And I did get these from Hobby Lobby. And I got all these. And I think they pair really well with the beads from Bargain Bead Box. And I will link those in my description box as well as all the other items that I'm using. Now that I've reduced each side of the silk down to a single layer, I can take one end and feed it through two of my large hole beads. Then I'll take the sari silk from the opposite side and feed it back through those same beads in the opposite direction. And that's what creates our sliding adjustable closure. So it is pretty easy. Now I'm just taking that silk strip from the opposite side and feeding it back through those beads to create the adjustable closure. And there we have our adjustable sari silk closure. I really love how this turned out because it keeps the bracelet completely clasp free while still make it easy to loosen and tighten for a comfortable fit. And I really, really love how it looks with the sari silk. And our adjustable closure functions very easily. And I really love these beautiful beads paired with the beautiful red sari silk. And we are going to go ahead and trim the tails down a little bit of the silk. And we are going to decorate it with a couple of little beads to add a little bit more decorative touch. And of course, if you need your bracelet smaller, you could always make your bead strands smaller. You don't have to make them 3.5 inches. You can make them smaller, the size that you need. To finish the ends, I'm adding one more bead to each sari silk tail. These act as little stoppers so the silk can't accidentally slide all the way back through our adjustable beads, but they also give the tails a pretty little detail. And then I'm going to go ahead and form a knot underneath that bead before I trim away the excess sari silk. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other piece of silk, and then I'll come back and show you what I have. And then we're going to make some chaos clusters. Now both beads are added to the tail, and I think it looks fantastic. Then I'll trim away the excess sari silk, leaving enough of those gorgeous frayed edges because I definitely want to keep that messy boho texture. And I love these messy frayed edges of the silk. And then I really do love the fun chaos tassels as well. And because apparently this bracelet wasn't chaotic enough already, it's time for some chaos clusters. And to make chaos clusters, I'm using a head pin and just putting on whatever beads. I mean, there's no pattern here. And then using my round nose pliers, I'm going to place the pliers right above that last bead and bend the wire toward me. And then bring the wire back around the top ring of the round nose pliers. I'm going to take my round nose pliers out and reposition to the bottom ring. So the loop is now on the bottom ring. And then I'm going to take the wire and wrap it around the wire that the beads are on. And that is forming our loop, and I'm just going to keep wrapping a couple of times. And that forms the loop, and that is creating our chaos cluster. And now this is not a neat wrap. That's why I call this a chaos cluster. It's just haphazardly wrapped. I don't count wraps. Everything is not even. And no two chaos clusters are exactly the same. And that is the way I intend it to be. And then you want to take your flush cutters and trim off any excess wire and take your pliers and smash the wire down so there's nothing sharp sticking out. Now I've created 2 chaos clusters and I'm going to go ahead and make one more. And now I have 3 chaos clusters and I'm going to attach them to the wood ring, the opposite of where the chaos tassels are. So that way we have some movement on both sides of the bracelet. And all 3 chaos clusters will be attached to one jump ring on the wood ring. And then make sure you close your jump ring up tight. And now we have our pretty little chaos clusters added to the opposite side of the bracelet. So that gives 2 different kinds of movement happening at each end of the bracelet instead of everything hanging from the same place. And I really, really love it. And I went ahead and added one more little detail to the side with the chaos clusters, and that is that little cactus charm. I just thought it paired perfectly with the whole design. Okay, beaders, here is our finished Saguaro Sunset Adjustable Bracelet. I absolutely love how this one turned out. It's colorful, rustic, textured, and just chaotic enough, which you know is exactly how I like it. But I think my favorite part is the adjustable sari silk closure. This design took quite a bit of trial and error because I really wanted to find a way to make the silk functional instead of simply decorative. And that's one of the things I love about creating jewelry. Sometimes you have an idea that doesn't quite work the first time, so you keep experimenting until you find something that does. Between the painted wooden rings, the 3 beaded strands, the sari silk, chaos tassels, chaos clusters, and the little cactus, I think this bracelet has so much personality. And thank you so much for creating with me. If you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think of the adjustable sari silk closure. And remember, let's keep it messy, let's keep it boho, and always, let's keep beading. I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.